welcome back to episode 3 of Let's Play. Today my main objective is to start to work on my island appearance. So I'm going to start by getting rid of this all gen. Even though I only built it on the last Let's Play, I've now figured out the most efficient ore gen, and I have a video coming out explaining that in a little while. So the plan is to basically get rid of all of this platform, make a new platform that's going to have organized by chunk is where my mindset's at. So I'm going to have like a chunk for storage, a chunk for ores, a chunk for fishing, kind of try and work my island with a bit of organization. So in order to do that, I need to get rid of all of this. And unfortunately, these blocks are sky limit to the very bottom of my island. So I'm probably going to cut a huge chunk of this out. But this is basically me just trying to tidy up my island. Although I do some cool things, including moss on this season's episode. But as you guys are listening along, please drop a like right now, which is the big thumbs up button if you haven't already. And please don't forget to subscribe if you're not, the big red button. And let me know in the comment section where you're up to with your current island. Over on RainyDay. The Skyblock season has just launched. So I kind of begun mining the bottom bit of the island down. So now I kind of fly high to the very top of my island to mine this bit down. For context, this was for a mission. You had to build to the max height build possible for your island to get a reward. So kind of instant regret. I should have probably used sand or something, which would have been way quicker. But now this is me building my platform, and I've decided to kind of go for like a nicer brick. I feel like I don't just want to use cobblestone. I kind of melted cobble into stone, and then I crafted these blocks, and then I crafted them into slabs because I feel like you get more out of a slab. Me placing it like this was making sure that I could place a chest and it not kind of be floating because it's like half of a slab. So because you've placed it at the top of a block, when you then place something on top, it'll line up nicely. I've also got chunk borders on for the time being, just so that I can work out a chunk. As I said, I kind of want a chunk per thing, and I do want something slightly different to kind of categorize each chunk. I don't know if I'm going to use the same block paving in each chunk, or whether I kind of try to split it up completely, but this is me just crafting everything. I will say this took a lot of back and forth trying to get cobblestone melted, and I also didn't realize until about halfway through doing this that I actually get access to multiplace because I have top rank in game. So unfortunately this is me failing at trying to place slabs. And this is me placing slabs for a little while until I finally realized that I have the ability to multiplace. I feel a little bit like a noob, but honestly I really love this block. I'm really into it. I was considering on making it like a mossy version. I thought that would be quite cool, and I might still do that yet, so kind of stay tuned for that. I've also got a really exciting thought process for the fishing pond that I want, because I was obsessed with Wild Tink's fishing pond layout. I thought it was fantastic. So I want to make a really cool fishing pond area. Don't know if I'm going to get around to that on this episode, or that might come on the next episode, to be honest. I'm not 100% sure yet. You'll notice I haven't fully got rid of the platform on the kind of top bit of my island just yet. That's because all my sprites are down, and that is where I'm currently kind of smelting everything back and forth as I go through this. So it will go eventually, guys, but I need it there for the time being, just as like a quick resource to grab, smelt, and then continue placing as we go along. I'm probably going to speed this little bit up because you don't want to sit and watch me place slabs for the entire duration of this video, but I am going to have a slab outer border all the way across to break up the kind of look and feel for this. And then I've decided that this is basically going to be my storage platform. So I'm going to have like a chest for different things, try to not clutter my PVs is where I'm going. So I decided in the corner, I want like a corner feature, but then I realized that I need enough space to basically have chests where they kind of go into the corner, but then I would be able to have a signpost on each chest. If you put them side by side with a signpost, you will not be able to open them. So that's kind of why I've built 3 out in total, kind of like 2 and 2, but almost 3 and 3 in the corner, if that makes sense. I've decided the opposite side is going to be the same stone platform, and this is actually going to be where I put my new ore gen and have all things mining related onto this side of the island, because I feel like stone is quite miney feel, and I kind of want it all to match. I have really bad OCD, which you may not think because of the state of my top part of my island, but I actually do have some crazy OCD. This is me failing at multiplace. But then essentially the other 2 corners and the other 2 chunks, I'm going to convert stone into moss. So this only works with stone and not cobblestone, but you need a single moss block, and then you bone meal it, and then it produces the stone into moss. And you can just repeat that process. You can't bone meal and then it kind of fills the entire area / chunk with moss. Unfortunately, I still need to fill the rest of that chunk with stone. But then once it's all filled with stone, I can just continue to bone meal and you have moss. This is a manual way of making moss. I am very close to unlocking redstone, and as soon as I've unlocked redstone, I can assure you I'm going to have a redstone moss machine, the most efficient one that I can make, alongside a load of other different redstone builds that I have planned, including like bee farm, flower farm. There's going to be loads to it. I promise it's going to be worth the wait. But I'm really close to unlocking that redstone. And this is me just trying to build the interconnecting corners of the rest of the platform. Again, this one will be filled with moss / stone then converted into moss at some point. I decided to make the inner border 2 chunks wide because I feel like if it's going to be 2 chunks wide, it kind of makes the whole evenness of the layout work much, much better. I kind of flip between multi-place and manual place because honestly, I mess up so much with multi-place that I find it easier to just manual place sometimes. At this point, I didn't know if I wanted to keep the carpet, the moss carpet or not. But kind of left it down to see how it looks and then basically complete the whole area with moss and then decide if that's what we wanted. The bone meal, I got it from the shop. If you guys know of a better way for me to get bone meal, please let me know. Because right now, I feel like the only way to get bone meal is through bones, and you can only get bones through skeletons, and I don't even know if skeletons are on here, maybe in dungeons, but I'm not 100% sure. So if anyone knows of a way to get bone meal / bones, please let me know, because that is something that I am a little bit stuck with, and I'm gonna need a lot of bone meal at some point. And I don't want to keep buying it from the shop because it costs $10 per watt, which in my opinion is expensive. But anyway, getting back on track, this is me deciding against the carpet. And I decide to pick out all the carpet here. This is probably going to be my fishing pond area. I also think I might have like a mini tree area for the time being, but it's not going to be a permanent tree area. But for now, I'm probably going to have 1 or 2 trees down just so that I can get wood. Then I can craft some chests and some signposts. But this is now me trying to start my storage area, just to see how it looks. But you guys can kind of see what I mean by needing that gap in the corner so that I can place a signpost and still open all of those chests around it. This is me now realising how much wood it costs to make chests. So I get hard at work planting some trees down. I think I do end up actually bone mealing a couple of trees because I was in a bit of a rush and was like, I really need wood. This is me forgetting that I need to put a moss block down before I bone meal the stone. So I steal a moss block from the other side of the island. I just drop that 1 moss block in here and I start to bone meal that. And then I take that moss block so I can go ahead and put it back on the other side. This is also me sharing the trees because I want the leaves that dropped from this tree because I'm going to use them in the ore gen that I'm going to build. And a bit of an interesting sneak peek, I guess, but the organ that I'm building, I'm planning to have a little mini pond underneath it, because I don't know if people know or not, but you can kind of have like two tools in your hand. So you can have a pickaxe as well as a fishing rod. So you can kind of do both at the same time to an extent. So my thought process to it was, I want to build an ore jam, but I also want to have a small like water source, infinite water source slash fishing pond underneath it.
How can I
this is when I realised that I couldn't place the water on the slab because it was just dropping straight through on the slabs. And typically, in order to do this, you need to place the water on a full block, not a slab.
Oh, is it a slab?
Yeah. I wasn't prepared to turn the whole platform into blocks. So what I decided to do was kind of just put some slabs down below where the water is going to be, because that will then essentially turn it into a full block rather than a slab, which means that I can then place the water down. Again, I run out of these blocks so much, so I did a lot of crafting and a lot of smelting throughout this. I should have probably waited until I had all of the blocks, but there we go. I didn't.
Why did you water that way?
I then realised waterlogging the
also, is there a reason to even have a water underneath it in the first place?
To
So
fish
good.
rod, you
Like,
mean?
so good.
Does it matter about the...
what I decided to do
I don't know why it
was
goes
to
that
actually
by the way it does.
waterlog all
If
the
you're asking
leaves.
that, I don't know.
Now, it's a little bit frustrating because you have to
mine's not going to be like
waterlog
that.
one by one on each
Unless
leaf.
we have an objection.
And for some reason, I basically tried to do
I
this
think
with
what the
a
issue with
single
people
water
also-
bucket, which I look back at it now and I think, why on earth would someone do that? But here we go. This is me, single, one by one, waterlogging my entire organ. But I have got a separate video coming out on my organ. I'm really excited for the next episode of Let's Play because I've got some really exciting stuff coming. So these have been a bit boring, but honestly, they're going to start to get good. But thank you so much for watching, guys. Please drop a like if you haven't already. Please don't forget to subscribe and comment and let me know what type of videos you want to see or what content you want to see in my Let's Play. But yeah, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in another video very soon, guys. But goodbye for now.